Well, I am live. I am live. I am live. I am live. And if I'm live, then I must play the jingle. I must play the jingle. Without the jingle, we have no show. Am I right?
If you're like me, and you got no life and there's nowhere to go, then tune in to the Animation Truman Show. You'll be glad you did.
Okay. Now, the world can keep turning now that we have done the jingle. So, I have been, well, it is unseasonably warm, friends. Unseasonably warm. And since it's been warm, when we get weather like this, I stroll around my neighborhood and make an absolute fool of myself by strumming my guitar and singing. To which, of course, you guys are saying, well, what were you strumming and singing? Well, interesting song. This is the song that actually made Bob Seger's career take off. And I actually thought for the longest time, and by the way, the strings on this sucker are, gosh, these strings have got to be 2 years old. So it's a little out of tune. And it's like when the strings get to a certain age, it's like you can't get the darn things to stay in tune. So it just sounds a little off. Hey, nagat. But it turns out, so I learned the song last year, and then come to find out I needed this, my capo, because it turns out, to my surprise, that the song was actually in A flat, not G, which leads me to believe that maybe Bob played it on a piano when he wrote it. And what happened was he recorded this song on the album by the same name, Night Moves, and I remember he told the story that someone said to him, that is a career maker song. And indeed it was. It was the song that made Bob break out. See how that sounds a little out of tune? Was a little too tall, could use a few pounds. Tight pants points, hardly renowned. She was a black-haired beauty with big dark eyes. Points on her own, sitting way up high. Way up firm and high. Out in the cornfield where the woods got heavy. Out in the backseat of my '60 Chevy. Working on mysteries without any clues. Working on the night moves. Trying to make some spot in the news. Working on the night moves. Summertime. Remember that? Remember that? What a great song. I love the bridge. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Felt the lightning. Yeah. Waiting on the thunder. Waiting on the thunder. What a great song. Anyway, that was nothing but fun, and it's good news to play fun songs. That's what we like to do here. Because I'm having a good time. Thanks, ma'am. You're very kind. Very kind. Yeah. That's actually been my quest. I'm always trying to improve myself in different ways. And one of the things I've been working on for the last year, I figured out about 5-6 years ago that I could sing in the, I know the physics of what's being done, and the way Bob sang, he can't do it anymore because he's just been a tenacious smoker. I don't know if he still is, but he smoked for a lot of years, and he can't really hit the notes anymore, which most guys can't when they get to be over 70. You know, he's like 75 now. Neat guy, though. He's from my neck of the woods. He's a Michigan boy. Bob Seger. And the other bit of trivia about Bob that people don't know is he was similar to guys like Steve Miller in this respect, in that when he finally broke out and became a thing, he had already put out like 12 albums. And people thought Night Moves was maybe like his second album or something. It was like his 12th, you know. A lot of them you can't find anymore, even on like, I use YouTube Music, you know, Spotify's the same, pretty much the same library. And you can find the, you know, Ramblin' Gamblin' Man and stuff like that from like, that's about 1968, I think. But yeah, Bob, one of the good guys of rock and roll. So anyway, well, we've been doing, after I signed off earlier, I actually compiled my sound effects and laid in a boatload of sound effects. So now I'm going to go ahead and review and kind of see what I've got here a little bit. And maybe we'll lay in the sound effects in the back half. Got to check my email. I'm looking for sometime today or tomorrow, I expect. Oh, there's Maria. Okay, Maria did send me the voiceover. So I have the voice from Maria. And that means technically we could get the Carliana voice laid in. I'll bet you she gave me separate audio files for Carliana, A and B, and then Fala, because she's playing two different parts there. So cool. Thank you, Maria. I don't know if you're around, but if you are, bless you, bless you. And actually, let me, while I'm thinking about it right now, before I forget, on my other screen, I'm making a note to send Maria a little something. I just don't want to embarrass myself by forgetting about that. I don't pay my actors much, frankly, but I do pay them. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we have. Okay, the video doesn't want to play.
I don't even have a girlfriend.
Really? That's what you're going to do, Reaper? Oh, yeah, I've seen this before. Okay, sorry, guys. Reaper's actually acting a little stupid. The solution, I've seen it before, goes to prove even commercial software has hiccups. The solution is to reload it. That should do the trick. And the only downside to that is that I have to resize my little video window. My cute little video window. Alright, let's see what we have here.
Enemy of the crown. Maybe time for you to take a wife.
Wife?
This is the recap from the last episode. Music's a little hot. I should probably stop and say the music is not mixed. Normally, the voices, there's a little bit of a ducker going on, so that means that when the voices talk, the music is automatically brought down just a little bit. Let's take a look here. There's the compressor. Let's see if it's fed through properly at this point, because I don't know if it is.
How does this even make...
Yeah, it is, but it's really not pushing it down quite enough. So I'm going to say let's lower the threshold just a bit.
How does this even make sense? Oh, hey, little guy.
Okay, we'll go with that. I'm going to wind up putting an envelope in there, though, to really dial in the music mix for sure. So, sorry about that. Let's get back to here. Yeah, the river effect is way too loud. Doesn't hurt to have it in there, but... something more like that. Just needs to be a suggestion, you know, kind of in the back of your mind. Oh.
How does this...
Oh, what I was going to say earlier about the singing thing. is when I learned about 5 years ago, I discovered I could do the Brian Johnson, from AC/DC. I could do that thing. I know how he does it. Bob Seger actually sings the same way. David Coverdale from Whitesnake. It's all the same technique. Those guys aren't really talking to each other about it or anything, but just if you kind of study vocal technique, you know that they're all doing it the same way. And it's the way they're able to keep screeching and never actually destroy their voice. So my quest has been to try to I tried to do it there with Night Moves actually, is keep the volume as low as possible and still get enough air moving through to get the effect. So if you do it right, you start to get that Rod Stewart kind of sound.
How does this even make sense? Oh, hey, little guy. Trying to study.
So this is definitely another
Whatever, buddy.
bona fide animation Truman show, because this is just grunt working away. And what I was going to say also is, if since I have Maria's voice tracks, I may lay those in, or I may say, you know what, let's do that tomorrow. And then tomorrow I would be getting that in, and then I've got to do the recap, or I should say the coming next segment for this episode, what's coming in episode 5, which will finish up the first full 24-minute episode, so that'll be cool. We'll see what I feel like doing. If I don't want to do that, then I will probably go jump back and work on some Futurama stuff or something, maybe. So we'll see where the muses take me.
Why, you little... Asher's robe? Oh, jeez.
Actual beehive sound effect.
What's another shirt? That's that. He'll never miss it.
I don't like that whistle right there.
That's that.
This is too low.
What's a...
So that's...
what's another shirt? What's another shirt? That's that. He'll never miss it. Melchizidek.
That actually came out kind of funny. I like it.
Hey, Asher.
And by the way, I should probably apologize to you guys who tune in for the Animation Truman Show, because I'm really wrecking the release of the episode for you guys. I know that, but it's like, what do you do? Yeah, Brian Johnson. Yeah, what he's doing is he's coming. He's way back here in the throat, and if it's really I've thought about how I would teach someone to do it, because I sort of stumbled on it by accident, and but if you do it correctly, that's what made me interested in developing it further, was discovering that if you do that technique, it doesn't rat your voice out. You're sitting here hitting all the high notes, and your voice doesn't get destroyed. So it's really a handy technique.
Sure. How'd it go with the king?
I'm gonna pump that pizzicato note. That's a little soft, as far as I'm concerned. And I actually think, let's echo that an octave down to maybe even 2 octaves down. Let's see. Yeah, I think maybe 2. Let's just see how that feels. Well, it's gonna have to be a lot hotter if we're gonna put it in the low register. Yeah, that's definitely better.
I say what I must. The Speaky will never listen to me.
Yeah, I suppose not.
Ah, well. Have you finished washing my ceremonial robe? I expect it to look like new.
By any chance, did it have a red stripe?
That's the one. Why do you ask? You weren't thinking about that girl again, were you?
Okay. Okay, actually, I guess we're gonna have to find some footsteps. So, this would be probably, yeah, we'll put this in miscellaneous effects. So Control-Alt-X takes me to my, yes, I saw it, Maria. I saw it, thank you. So we got this fairly large collection of footsteps. Yeah, the problem with that one is it's got a lot of ambience baked into it. That one might be okay. That's definitely not going to work. No idea what these footsteps are. This came out of a sound effect library that I used for a movie that I created like 12 years ago. That's the one you want right there. Okay, so now this is the bad news is we actually don't have a way, unfortunately, to select a piece out of this. So, well, it looks like it's about halfway through the sound. So, what we will do is drag the footsteps in. Yeah, it's a pretty clunky way to do it, but well, we'll make it work. We'll make it work, people. Okay, so is this the one? No. That one, I do like that. It seems to me I might be wanting to save that one to use a little bit later. I'm going to just slide that baby downstream.
Yourself.
You'll be even sorrier soon enough. That's not it. Which one was it? I'm looking for... Oh, it looks like it should be this one. Or no, it's 2 down from there. So 1, 2. That's it. Pretty sure that's it. Alright, so what we want to do here, friends, is we want to find Baldur's entry. This has to be quite subtle. There's Baldur coming in, so what we want to do is really put this down very low and fade them in. There we go. That works. Okay. You could do the Foley of the turning, right? You could. You don't really have to. This is one of those spots where you have some liberty because, you got the music and, there's a lot happening, so. But that feels pretty good. Okay, and I thought, doggone it, I thought I know what I did. I'm thinking about the pizzicato on the eye blinks. So what I'm going to do is actually take this marker and move it downstream to here. And then...
That's the one.
I don't oh, there it is. Wow. We're going to steal this sound effect. Well, it's really music, but we're going to steal that and see if it works with Tianara's little blinky blink. And I might have to retime it or something. It's no big deal. Unfreaking believable. That was like perfect. I think I want it slightly louder though.
You think you're cute. Got yourself grounded. Brought it all on yourself, didn't you?
Okay. Now, let's come back here.
Thank you, cute. Gotcha.
All right. This is obviously a little bit weak. That was recorded with the studio mic, so I want this channel.
Got yourself grounded.
All right.
Thank you, cute. Got yourself grounded. Brought it all on yourself.
Okay, let me...
Got yourself grounded. Brought it all on yourself.
Now, why do I have that? Okay, yeah, he goes.
Think you're cute. Gotcha.
His mouth really doesn't move, and I think I'm going to have to change it.
Think you're cute. Gotcha.
So, well, let's just put in the laugh.
Got yourself grounded.
Got yourself grounded. This I don't like.
Got yourself grounded.
That's better.
Brought it all on yourself.
And I'll just continue here.
Self-grounded. Brought it all on yourself, didn't you?
Now I hurried that a little bit.
Self-grounded. Brought it all on yourself, didn't you?
I gotta wait just to pause on the didn't you.
Self-grounded. Brought it all on yourself, didn't you? Self-grounded. Brought it all on yourself, didn't you?
There we go. Much better. Much better.
You'll be even sorrier soon enough.
No, that's a little too ominous.
You'll be even sorrier soon enough. You'll be even sorrier soon enough.
Just a faint chuckle as he walks away, I think.
You'll be even sorrier soon enough.
Cool. I'm glad I can live stream while still recording into Reaper. Reaper seems to play nice with the other the other software on the machine. Okay, so what about those steps though? Right there, we need to take, let's move the marker, since the marker, this is like a temp marker, I keep moving it around. Okay, so then here, we're going to do basically the opposite. Okay, so this is not going to require too much. That's a pretty strong step right
Good
there.
enough.
Yep, and all we need is like 3 steps, and we're not even going to, the third one will be barely audible. And as I said this morning, I have no idea what her line of dialogue is there. Michael Layton's Carl Plinking Animations. What program is this currently? Well, the program you're watching, sir, is the Animation Truman Show. But, you mean what's the show I'm working on?
Please clarify your question, sir.
I'm working on webisode 4 of Salt and Light, of which the first 3 webisodes you can go watch right now here on my channel if you like. So this would be webisode 4.
Enough.
So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do with Tianara there.
Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
I'm going to redo that just because. Let me glue those guys together so I can just mute them this way.
Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Okay, that last one started talking a little too soon.
Our moment,
That's not right.
perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Better. That is better. Get rid of that. And just for fun, we'll glue those 2 together and save our work. This is one of those spots where it wouldn't be the worst idea ever to clean the project directory, because audio files tend to pile up. Okay, did that answer your question, friend? Thank you for subscribing. Is it called Reaper? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yes. Yeah, I'm using Reaper. You can go download Reaper right now, too, if you want. It's not free, but there's just a nag screen until you pay the $60 to register it. Unless you want to do like I did and get the pro license, which is exactly the same as the standard license. I bought the pro license just to reward the developers. True story. But Reaper I have used to score 8 feature films, plus obviously all these cartoons and a lot of other commercial work. So it's a pretty industrial strength program. So there you go. I think that probably answers your question. And by the way, guys, before too long, I'm going to have to go get my my tasty beverage, which it's martini time, okay? Am I right? Am I right? Is it martini time? Yeah. It's martini time, and it's going to be good. Okay, so I just did this line, so let's jump ahead. We got to get Carliana's lines in there. We're going to have to... we've already got a channel for Maria's voice, so it's already EQ'd for her based on what she gets out of her equipment, so...
Oh, sure, you can sing. You're as free as a...
I actually like the bird ambience, but I'm going to have to come up with a louder bird call, or some kind of singing
But the
bird.
point is you're free. Free to go where you want, wear what you want, do what you want.
Free to do what you want.
Yeah,
I'm stuck with all this work.
I'll say it again. The music, the score is definitely a little hot through this whole segment here. And that bird call right there definitely is not quite working.
Okay,
So let's
fine.
stop right there. And, you know, this is the kind of work where you wind up with kind of a lot of jumping around. So there's the music tracks. Here's the sound effects. So it appears to me that what we have is this particular, track. This has a hot bird in
all
it,
this
baby.
work. Okay,
Yeah, it's like
fine.
jungle birds or something.
I guess studying
If it's super quiet, it's okay, but we don't want
with
to
all this work.
break the illusion too much here. So Maria says, had to jump away for a second. Recycling day. Oh, don't even get me started, Maria. The recycling in Fort Wayne, Indiana. They haven't actually. Well, they did actually come and get it last week. So, I think it took them 5 weeks, maybe 6, because the company, Red River, which is based in Texas, they declared bankruptcy some time ago, and so our town is having to noodle around with figuring out a new garbage / recyclable situation.
Okay, fine. I guess studying's not so bad. Hey, at least we've got food to eat.
Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to hit Control G, which should bake the volume into the wave, and that way I can go ahead and do a more judicious reduction this way. So,
Are you suiting up?
What? Where'd they go?
I gotta say I'm happy with the way the score came out on this episode. Oh,
I
there we go.
suppose there's a-
Okay, sound effects. All right, we got to get the. Okay, we have this. Let's use our little temporary marker and mark this spot right here because we have, and this one, by the way, could be deleted. I don't want to have too many markers floating around. If there's millions of them, they kind of lose their benefit, you know. So back here somewhere, yes, Melchizedek leaped toward Monkey, and I'm really betting that this little cluster right here, I'm going to take a chance and just bake it now. Okay, yeah. So the volume of it's a little hot, but now I can take this, Control C, and I'm going to actually steal this sound effect and smack it in back here. Or down here, I should say, probably. And boom. Okay, we've got 2 of them. I don't like the second one, so it's not bad. Not bad. We're gonna have to fade it out though. There's a little corruption there at the end. He says in his best Zap Brannigan voice. There we go. Nice.
I suppose there's always somebody who's got it worse than me. Like that girl.
Not bad. Not bad.
Married?
Boom.
Well, no!
Okay, and just for the record, I'm seriously thinking I just, this was fun to animate, and I don't know that the exaggerated stuff I did as well as I probably should have, so I may wind up going back and reanimating that.
Well, no!
But for now, we're fine. Okay, and here we would definitely not have any bird sound effects, would we?
Father never would have...
Okay, we'll see if this works. I suspect it won't because she's probably too light. Actually, you know what? That would probably work. Let's time shift it. Let's smack them closer together. Okay, that's actually, it's a little gravelly, but I think we're okay. I'm gonna run with it for now just because. Let's do a repitch. A couple semitones. Okay. Probably this is wrong. So I think what I'll do is, I think I'll make a duplicate. Turn this one down. Whoops. So now you guys are getting a little taste of, when I'm trying different things, this is kind of my methodology. I don't get rid of the stuff that might not be working until I'm really, really sure. Now we could go back here to the preview. Now those steps would be great for Balder when he comes in. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's just grab it because I found it. I know what I want. Let's just go get those steps. Okay, you can see I time shifted it. And also we can just get rid of the pitch effect. That's not necessary. So for Balder, we'll just go whoomp like that. Let me see this.
Kids nowadays.
Okay, so obviously it's like super way too loud. I get it. Don't put it in the comments. I already know.
Kids now.
Okay, yeah. So we only need 3 steps. So okay. So let's just tighten up that start point.
Kids.
Okay, so now that's gonna fade in, and now we got to turn this way the heck down. Frankly, there's a case to be made for applying some EQ to that specific sound effect. Take some of the bottom out. What I don't want to do is start adding tracks just for one wave. So if I've got one special case where it needs to be EQ'd a little bit, I'll typically just drag and drop EQ directly on the clip.
Kids now.
Okay, so that worked.
Kids now.
Okay, and then obviously this is too late, so we'll split that, pull that back there, and we could also drag it around to find the last step. That looks about right, and that should probably do it.
Kids nowadays.
Perfect. And now, because it's close to where it needs to be volume-wise and everything, I'm going to hit Control-G and bake that together. So when you bake it, it does bake in the volume up and down, but it does not bake in the envelope. Not really sure why, but that's kind of the choice that
Kids
the
nowadays.
developers made. So, in fact, let me qualify that. It may be in Reaper that if you, I know that if I lower the volume and bake it in, watch what happens. Okay, you can see that the volume's baked in. However, if you lower the volume and there's a fade in, I don't know that it bakes in the volume. It doesn't look like it does. I can see the point. You know, you're basically wanting to give the flexibility of not necessarily baking in the fade, but yet you have to decide, well, how do you bake in the volume on this part of the way but not the rest without a big jump in volume or something, right?
Kids.
So that looks good, though. That feels good, sounds good, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what is this? I have, like, no idea what this is. Oh, this is the footsteps. I turned it down. So what I can do is, yes, so what I'll do is, I don't want it to be on gravel. Those are too heavy. Maybe. Definitely not. Okay, so stop right there, and I'm going to say, if we just scroll this back to the beginning, and we can see it was like the 5th set. So we'll just go 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably it's one of these. Yeah, they that was easy. Okie dokie. Alright, and I like the speed actually. Okay. Now, one thing I hadn't thought of is we really need to have that door going in. Okay, that's a little bit, let me check the pitch. I want to raise the pitch up like a lot and see what it sounds like. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and then, so let's make sure the pitch is, let's use elastic, monophonic probably. I'm not really liking the monophonic thing. Let's go to speech. Yeah, that seems to be the least egregious in terms of introducing artifacts. Okay, so now we need to fade it out a little bit. And set the overall volume so it sits in the mix. Okay, so now, boy, in episode 2, there was clunking around in door opening. This is a serious long shot. I doubt it works. Yeah, definitely not. Yeah, I mean, okay. Let's just play for a moment. This is the type of thing where people are going, come on, Dave, you're seriously not going to even try that, are you? Yeah. Hang in there with me here for just half a second. Okay. The door closing, not the worst thing ever. And that would have to happen. So we'd have to have a sound effect of the door opening and closing while we're, you know, on Carliana.
Kids nowadays, they got no appreciation.
Not horrible. We just need to get the door opening in there. Okay, taking a half a second to look. It looks like not much going on in the comments. So if you guys will bear with me, what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and loop this bit. I'm going to loop it just on the, let's loop the music track, I think. And go get my tasty beverage. So the music starts here, so that means I've got about 6 minutes. It won't take that long. It'll take me about a minute and a half probably. So I'll let you guys listen to the score, and I will be back shortly. I'll go ahead and turn off my webcam, and I'll be back shortly. And I am back. Yeah, I like the music too. I was really happy I was able to do it so quickly. I think the Mickey Mousing section took about, 2 or 3 work days, so it wasn't super fast. But then the whole back half, all this stuff we're hearing now, the whole thing was done in less than an hour. It was super fast. That's what I'm trying to accomplish here. It's what I want to get to, is just real time, capture the emotion accurately with music. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing. I love it. I could be criticized for trying to get reasonably good at too many things. Since if you're going to do a cartoon, you have to write it, voice it, animate it, do sound effects, and the music.
It's a bit of work.
So I hope this is reasonably entertaining for you guys too. I mean, as some of you know, when I started doing the Animation Truman Show or stuff like it, the whole point was for me, I would love it if a creator did what I'm doing right here, where it's unadorned, it's not curated, it's not edited. You just get to see what they really, really did. You know, to me that's cool. For most people, I don't think so. I don't think it's most people's cup of tea. But anyway, I'm actually thinking also I may. Okay, I was about to say I need to hear some low frequencies here. Yeah, the drone of the trombones actually is I was actually kind of proud of that. It's the kind of thing you hear a lot in let's see here. I'm having a brain fart on the name. The guy that scored Hitchcock's films. Bernard Herrmann, of course. Duh. Yeah, Benny Herrmann. He used a lot of like repeating figures. If you listen to a score like North by Northwest, you hear a lot of these types of figures. Kind of boring all by itself, but you put it in context, it just adds this nice little push of tension, you know, without being too dissonant either. So anyway, okay, so that's that. All right, what are we going to do? I've got to get that door opening for sure, but that's probably going to require some Foley work, which I can't do here while I'm live streaming. So, actually, let me ask you, Maria, are you okay with? I seriously want you to answer this question honestly. Are you okay with me working with the audio publicly? You know, as opposed to just getting it in there and. I mean, I know I kind of did last time, but as I recall, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but it seems to me I kind of did the preliminaries before I was really just working with timing. So I'll leave that to you to comment. Because if you want, I'll do it. You know, you don't care. Okay. So what we have is I've got 3 audio files from Maria. So you guys can't see this, but what I'm doing is I'm downloading them. And now for me, this kind of gets into the logistics thing I talked about earlier this morning, that you really want to make sure you're like if somebody sends me a voiceover, it always goes into a certain named folder based on the episode. You know, there's a lot of folder naming and organization going on to make sure I have, so that when I need to go back and get it again, I know where I put it. You think it's simple, but the truth is, a project like this, I mean, how many shots are there in Salt and Light right now? 800, between 800 and 900 shots so far, and there's a lot of assets to keep track of, you know. So it seems to me that in the Reaper folder, voice recording, yep. So I've got this folder called voice recording, and the astute observer will notice there's folders in there. There's Darren's Vespar, which I do want to get back to. I'm actually seriously thinking about replacing myself with Darren. I don't think anybody will notice. And besides, you know, I can always change the voice on the final release anyway compared to what it is on the webisode, so it's not like the big deal. All right, episode 0104, Maria Torres Carliana. Okay? So, Carliana, it's good. I have no idea what that means. It's good, but I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's a reference to something in the script that tells me where it's at. So we've got another one called Carliana Tianara, which I assume is the interaction with Tianara. And then we've got Fala. So for Fala, what we need to do is I'm not going to put it there. This is going to be a new folder. And this is just my naming convention. I go episode 01-04 Maria Torres Fala. And actually, that's wrong. Okay. Tell you what. How do we want to do this? This actually needs to be episode 1 and 2 because this is actually, I'm pretty sure this is all of the voice for Fala in the entire 48-minute double-length pilot. Pretty sure. So that means I'm actually glad this happened. This is a great example of kind of what I was talking about this morning. So we've got this naming convention where we say we've got episode, and then we've got 0104 means it's episode 1, but the 4th webisode, so it's the 4th piece of it. But the problem is the voiceovers that I have there encompass more than just this webisode. So that means I guarantee you I will forget. Now I'll be working on the next webisode, right? Where the heck did I put Maria's voice? I guarantee you that'll happen. No question. First line of dialogue in the scene. Are you throwing that out there as a way to help keep track? I can guarantee you that would not work for me. I won't even get into why, but there are reasons why that would not be a good solution for me. So on my other screen, I'm going to do a little bit of organizing here because basically what we need to do is rename those folders. Rename that. I'm doing this on the other screen. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the preview here, I'm going to go ahead and start going through them and get the piece of it that I need for this episode. Hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, trust me, the world will keep on turning. Okay. So now what we can do, before we can do anything, actually, look at this. These are M4A files, and Reaper doesn't actually understand. It doesn't matter what you call it, because you got to realize when I'm working with, well, you guys saw it this morning when I'm working with Natalie. When Natalie voiced it, she voiced her whole show. Because the reality is, a show like this, any given role, you're only going to have about probably at most 10 minutes or so of talking, to do a whole show. So, so as long as I know where the master is, I can go back and it only takes 30 seconds to find my place in it and get the stuff I need for the next episode. So it's really no big deal. But one thing that is a big deal is that these files have to be converted to something that, that that Reaper understands, which is basically a WAV file. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bake this into the folders, I think. So I'm going to grab these three files. I don't really need the command interpreter, but FFmpeg and then a batch file. I'm sure this is extremely boring for you guys, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run this batch file. So what this batch file does is this is going to be hard to understand, but what it does is it says any MP4 or M4A files that are existing in the folder, do the following to all of them. And what it does is it converts them into WAV files. So we're using FFmpeg for that, and it's done. And if we see that, so now we've got these WAV files. And then what I'm going to do, this is kind of my normal practice also with file management, is now I'm going to call this archive. And anything that I really don't need, but you know, you just never know why you might wind up needing it sometime, I'll just drag into there. Now, since I copied these in here, I'll just delete them again. Now, I could have dragged the WAV files into the conversions folder and then dragged the resulting WAV files into this other folder, but either way, it works. So, what have we got here? Let's find out. We're going to go to Reaper, voice recording, episode 1 and 2, Maria Escarliana. So it's going to be one of these.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news? It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news. It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
That one's a little weak on the end.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
I like the...
Excellent. Tell me about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
And then this is quite a bit longer.
Isn't it wonderful?
Okay, so this
Isn't it wonderful?
Got it. Okay, cool. So this, what we're going to do, friends, is we're going to grab this and just go ahead and find our spot here where all the drama begins. And then what we have to do is just kind of go through and figure out just, you know, what feels right. So, as far as effects go, okay, that's quite an interesting bit of EQ I did, so. Why do we have a left channel there, but not a right? That's kind of weird.
It's good to see.
Oh, I'm sorry. Optical illusion. I'm looking at the title, and I'm thinking I'm seeing wave data. It just goes to show the eyes aren't quite what they used to be, friends. No. No.
It's good to see you again.
I feel like she is a little weak. I'm almost wanting to feel a little bit more giddy enthusiasm.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
She sounds a little too much like the villager on the first voiceover you did.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Perhaps, dear cousin.
Oh yeah, and she says you bring good news. So
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
Perhaps.
what in the world? I might have to do a mod on her. I must have done it so that I must have had the first part in the wide shot.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yeah, that's definitely you bring good news. So I'm just going to keep playing. So what I'm going to do is actually just split this and delete the rest, because then I can scroll through and find the take that, you know, floats my boat.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
And obviously Carliana does not have any lip sync in the wide shot. I'm aware of that. That's going to have to be added later.
You bring good news.
So that's a little too weak for my taste, but that's why pros like Maria give you multiple takes to pick from.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Okay, and now, gosh, let's just solo the vocal group.
It's good to see you again.
Okay, bring good news. That looks a little stronger.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news?
Okay, so now that's a little mousy, but that third one, I believe, was the one I thought was pretty, it kind of grabbed me.
You bring good news. It's good to see you again, cousin.
Okay, now that's getting a little closer to what I kind of hear Carliana being. It's a little stronger.
It's good to see you again, cousin. It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yeah, that's better. So I'm just going to delete that one and move this one back.
Cousin, you bring good news.
And that definitely didn't hit the mark.
Again, cousin. It's good to see you,
Oh, we got to get rid of that.
cousin.
Okay, now this was interesting. This is where the approach to the acting. I like what you did there, where you added. I don't know what the intention was, but adding that pause is a subtle bit of information that is actually kind of important, because these guys don't actually know each other that well. Okay. They're distant cousins, and this is a situation that Golik has cooked up and sort of convinced Carliana to be part of. It's not like she needs it. Carliana's wealthy, she's a merchant, and she lives in the north where the rain still falls, so she really doesn't have to get involved with this, but, you know, she's pretty opportunistic.
It's good to see you again, cousin. Cousin? It's good to see you again. Good to see you again, cousin.
I am going to go with that for the moment. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to grab this one,
You bring good news.
and I'm going to split that in case I need to tweak the timing of it. Okay, so this...
You bring good news. You bring good news. Excellent. Tell me about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent.
Little over enunciation on the about it. You usually can't pull that off. I don't mean you, I mean anybody. If you over enunciate T's like that, it doesn't
Excellent.
sell as being
Tell me all about it.
as now. And I should probably, for the purpose of people that watch this, I should clarify. There may be reasons in theatrical practice why that actually is useful, but for, you know, for film or broadcast, generally not so much.
Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Ah, yeah, that one's kind of interesting.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, come back here. Oops, I didn't mean to lose my
It's
previewer.
good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news. You bring good news. You bring good news. You bring good news. You bring good news.
I like the second one
cousin.
best.
You bring good news.
Ah, there we go. Number 4 is the better one. Okay,
You bring good news.
I think that's the one I picked.
You bring good news.
Yep.
Excellent. Tell me about it.
Okay, so let's
You
just...
bring good news.
Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Did I make that plural?
Dear cousin,
No, I didn't. It sounded like I heard an S on the end of the word cousin.
perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Okay, which one was it?
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Now, I don't want her to sound like an excited young girl. You know, she's got to keep her cool, so let's just float on down here. Where are we here?
Tell me all about it.
No, I mean, then you see it with the video. It is kind of interesting, actually.
Tell me all about it.
Obviously, the lip sync is wrong but
Tell me all about it.
I like the energy of that one, though. I think what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and try to do what I did on the last show. And I'm going to make some magic here.
Tell me all about it.
Okay, interesting.
Tell me all about it.
A little too,
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that one.
Tell me all about it.
I think it's a little
Tell
too...
me all...
These two are a little too, I guess excited is the word.
Excellent. Tell me all about it. Tell me about it. Excellent. Tell me about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent.
That one's kind of interesting too.
Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent.
Okay, we got, those T's at the end of the words. I can actually probably fix that digitally a bit. So let me say...
Tell me all about...
I left out excellent. Okay, so...
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, I like that one. So I'm sure this is probably not particularly interesting for a lot of people out there. Because, this is why I'm doing it, is because you guys have to see that this is tedious work. I mean, if you're going to create a show, and especially if you're working with... It's a little different if you're able to direct a voice actor.
Tell me.
But, a lot of times you can't, and this is what you would be doing. You're going to go through and find the take that kind of works, and then cobble it together, sometimes using digital tools to change timing and things like that. It's all just part of the process.
Be at
Excellent.
hand.
Tell me all about...
Okay, so that one is...
Excellent. Tell
That's
me
the
about
one
it.
I'm looking for.
Excellent. Tell me...
I'm looking for this. I see, by the way, you guys, I can see there's some... I think that's it right there. I can see some comments coming in. I'm trying to focus here, so...
Excellent. Tell me all...
Hand.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, not bad. I'm not liking that. Okay.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, that's too... She's fawning over the situation, and Carliana would never do that. She would be like, excellent. Tell me all about it. Or she would be, excellent. Tell me all about it. She'd be very businesslike, I guess.
Tell me all about it.
So this take here definitely doesn't work.
Tell me all...
And this was time shifted, so...
Tell me all about it.
Okay, so... Let me go back and listen to these again. I'm trying to find a tell me all about it. What's the one I like best?
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news. You bring good news.
Okay, so
Tell me about it.
You know what? That one's kind of sprightly. Actually, that might be the best one. Kind of to my surprise, because the line is a little different. But you know what? If it works, it works. So let's see here.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, that is... Gosh, I'm looking here and seeing which... I'm looking at the wave shape and I'm going, which one is that, friends?
Tell me all about it.
Okay, that is not bad.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, so again, like I said, I would have to digitally tweak those T's, but that's okay. That can definitely be done.
Tell me all about it.
So I'm going to mute this one, basically, and then go over here with an unmuted version and look for that other take.
Excellent. Tell me all about. Tell me all.
I'm gonna actually keep that, the tell me, because I'm hedging my bets here. So when I worked with Maria's voiceover last time, it was very much like this. You're just finding the take that just feels right with the cartoon, and then sometimes time shifting it a little bit.
Excellent.
Ooh.
Excellent. Excellent.
Ooh, I like that. I like that bad. That delete. I like that one better. I'm gonna have to pump up the volume, but
Excellent.
yes. Oh boy, that's good. That is good. That's got some feel to it. Okay.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
And so there. Okay. So I'm gonna take a chance here and just extend this because I'm wondering if this all sort of has the same.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay. It's close. So I'm gonna go to there.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
All right. So I'm gonna time shift this.
All about.
And hope that I can make this work time shift wise.
Tell me all about it.
Okay, no, it's close. It's close. Close, friends. But in the world of voiceover,
Excellent.
it can be rather difficult.
About it. Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, wow. Okay, that was a coincidence, but it worked. By cutting that, it gave me a punch on the B on about.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
That I like.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, I'm going to go with that for the moment. Let's save our work. Okay, so such a gentle voice for a character being harsh and uppity. Well, unfortunately, you don't get to decide. That was one of the things about Carliana that came up early on was the idea that she's not mean, she's not uppity and pushy. She is so comfortable in her own skin as a very wealthy, very successful, very capable person that she doesn't have to be the person that pushes it at you. She doesn't have to be on the nose. That was a very specific choice about her.
Tell me.
That, by the way, I can get rid of. So yeah, that uppity and pushy is not what she is. In fact, especially at this point in the story. Now, you could argue back and forth for hours about creative choices, okay? Because the truth is, any way you approached it, you could make it work. Guarantee you. You can. That's part of what you do as an editor and as a creator, but especially as an editor. And especially on top of that, when you're dealing with voice tracks. And you've got to find the track that, moves the story forward in the way that you were after. So, I would venture to say I'll boldly make the statement that just knowing you, Amar, you're probably having and this is a good thing, is you're probably going to be a guy who's going to watch this process, and you're going to have creative impulses about what works or what it should be that are valid choices. And in a lot of cases, those choices and those impulses are going to actually, in some cases, harken all the way back to the script, where you're gonna think, oh my God, I would have used a different line of dialogue, or you know what I mean. You're going to be constantly thinking about those things, and that's good. That's what you have to do with your show. Whatever you're creating, right? For me, my feeling on Carliana is she's a tough character because it is a little more subtle approach to the villain, right? So
It's good to see you again, cousin.
and I actually like the idea of when she says cousin, I'm going to say we want to cut to that close up.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
I want to put that pause in there.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
You see what I'm saying? It's a choppy. Golek and Carliana are actually getting reacquainted with each other as distant relatives, and so she's asserting some things about this relationship by sticking the word cousin in there. It's actually kind of an important word. Because just think about it. These two guys are the villains. Sooner or later, one or the other is probably going to stab the other in the back. Because they're both opportunistic characters, right? So, I mean, these are just all things that go through my head.
Cousin, you bring good news. Cousin, you bring good news.
And I want to...
You bring good news. Cousin, you bring good news.
Now, I have to say, it would be interesting to see if we lowered her about a whole step. We didn't do it in the earlier episodes, so I really can't be changing the game too much here. But it would be interesting to see. I probably tried this last time, and I just don't remember what it sounded like. But I'm gonna say let's do -2. This might be kind of crazy, but
It's good to see you again, cousin.
I'm gonna put that up on the other screen, and actually.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
I'm keeping that. That and Maria with her normal speaking voice may not be capable of getting that pitch quite there. Because it's hard, when you're... I mean, I've done pitch shifting on different voices that I do. Did I lower the pitch? Okay, well... 2 semitones, that'd be a whole step. Sounds good to me. I mean, that feels more like Carliana.
It's good to see you again, cousin. It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
I'm going with that.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
There's a little bit of a pitch shift warble right here.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
It's a little too low right there. So we could compensate on the specific shot, but I think let's just split the difference. -1.5.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, I'm going to stick with that for the moment. Now, we really do need to normalize this stuff. I mean, we could obviously just pump the volume on the track, but let's see what we have here. Yeah, boy, there's a lot of room to normalize. This is going to be a lot louder.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yeah, I am going to actually... Let me see what happens if we stretch this out. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna take a moment and do this one by one, and then we're gonna have to do some adjustment. Normalize. Normalize, where are you? Boom, 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 boom. This one's going to be whacked because the overall voice was lower, so that means it's going to be normalized more. So this is going to be all over the map at this point in terms of volume.
Excellent.
Our moment may be at hand.
Excellent. Tell me all about it.
Okay, not bad. Not bad.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
I'm ignoring the lip sync right now because the lip sync is definitely off. I'm going to have to change the animation on this shot, but that's all right. Okay, so...
It's good to see you again, cousin.
So this take is the one thing I'm not liking at this point. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to scroll back to the beginning of the take because it's already normalized. So if I slip at it within the clip, I can search for other takes that are already normalized, right? Because the normalization is a characteristic of the clip, right? A Burns vibe? Okay. That doesn't happen very often. An actual pit in the olive, that sucks. That's not cool at all. If I was being careless, I could like bust a tooth or something.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
That take is better. Oh, what we have here?
Good to see you again, cousin.
Yeah, so we'll cut it there. Sorry for the chomping. Almost done.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Let's see what we can do with this.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Ooh, that definitely doesn't work.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
So we're going to have to...
Again, cousin.
Okay. I just have to... I'm trying to get the N on the end of the word, right? Believe me, digital audio editing is... Well, let's put it this way. In the days before digital... Well, actually, when I came to this town, I took a job with a jingle company. So this was what I wanted to do. I wanted to do radio jingles, you know. Well, back then, the masters for the jingles would be on reel-to-reel tapes. So everything was not digital yet. And anytime I was the low guy on the totem pole, right? I was the peon. But man, when there was anything that involved audio editing where you had to go in with a razor blade and cut and splice pieces of tape together and make it work, they would have me do it every time.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
So you guys are not seeing the level of care that is going to be brought to bear on this sequence. I'm just roughing it in at this point.
It's good to see you again, cousin. It's good to see you again, cousin.
So right there, it probably works. In fact, actually, this should probably be even quieter.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Because, obviously, the change in the camera would suggest a little bit more intimate.
Again, cousin. You bring good news.
Yeah, I would say, I have to say, Maria, when I listen to it, I think, I'll say it. If you were here in the room and I was coaching you, I would be telling you to use your diaphragm more in your speech. Definitely. I know you do a lot of acting, so I know you're familiar with diaphragmatic breathing, but I'm not hearing it seems obvious to me that you have the ability to have more power pushing air, to project more. And sometimes it sounds more like somebody who's breathing more from up here. And you really don't want to do that. You want to... the way to think of it... so actually, if you're still here, I assume you're still here. If you are... If you do know what I'm talking about, and it's like, hey, Dave, I know everything there is to know about diaphragmatic breathing, then fine. Tell me that, and I won't belabor the topic. If you are curious about how you could improve the way your voice projects, then there's some pretty simple things I could tell you that would probably make an instant difference in terms of how your voice projects. Okay, so it's your call. You can either ask me to lay it on you. You're still here. Are you? Is it okay if I? So this isn't just for Maria, but I mean this is for anybody. If you want to know what it feels like to get control of your breath from below, And you've got to be able to do this if you're going to be a voiceover. Like in my case, okay, well, let me, one thing at a time. Okay, so what you think of it like sipping through a straw. When you sip through a straw, you create this resistance where the air has to be sucked through. And then what happens is down in your diaphragm, basically around your belly button, you can feel the diaphragm go down like this. Okay, and the breath should be coming from below. So basically down here. That's where you should be breathing from. In fact, when you do voiceover, I swear I should create a course. If I was going to create a course and sell it here on YouTube, through my Patreon or whatever it is, this is actually the course I should probably create that would be enormously helpful for people that want to create this kind of stuff. Is basically everything you need to know to do professional voiceover. There's other people that have done this, but using the voice is something I talk a lot. And I sing a lot too. I mean, it didn't come easy. When I started in recording studios in the late 80s, I did not do any voiceovers at all. In fact, I didn't think I could. I really didn't think I could. And then what happened was I began to listen to these. We get these demo CDs, right, in the studio of, like for music libraries. Like, they want you to buy this music library to, you pay a license fee and then you can use the music in commercials or whatever it is you're going to use it. And the voiceover guys that would talk over these demos, I would study them and I go, it seems like I could do that. And I would really think about what are the things they're doing. Like, for example, if you breathe diaphragmatically, then you can be doing a voiceover and actually take a breath and no one even knows that you took a breath. And so, like right now, I could be reading like a book, an audiobook or something, and I just took a breath and you guys didn't even know that I took the breath. Now, there was a pause, but you didn't hear me take the breath. You didn't hear, you didn't hear me. And believe me, there are people with amazing voices who do tons of, commercials or whatever, who every time they take a breath, you can hear it. It's insane. They never learned how to breathe diaphragmatically, but if you breathe from below, you can actually take in air through your nose while you're speaking, and immediately, right there, I took a breath 3 times. You can't hear it. So the other thing about diaphragmatic breathing, though, is it gives you support from underneath. That's where all the power comes from, is from underneath. It takes practice, and it's not intuitive, and at first it's weird to do, but if you practice it, it will help you, and it immediately will cause you to project more. I guess I'll only give one other tip about voiceover at the moment, and I just did it, by the way, which is that most people, they throw words away. Now, I at times throw words away, but I usually catch it and redo it because I know that I did it. I hear it back and I go, oh crap, I threw that word away or whatever. And if I'm just talking conversationally, I just like anybody else, I throw words away all the time. So I don't go around trying to talk like a voiceover guy all the time. I can, but I don't, in normal conversation. But what you want to do is you want to bite vowels. Okay? If you have a word, like right there I just did it again. I said, if you have a word, you see how I bit the A on a word? I didn't say if you have a word. Right there I did it the way most people do it. I threw the A away. Gone forever. What you should do is what I'm doing right now. I understand that every syllable actually matters to my audience. Every single word. But not just every word, every syllable. Okay, so you want to speak about 20% slower, and about a better way to think of it would be 20% more deliberately than you normally speak. Those 3 things. If you bite your vowels so you're thinking about, if the word starts with a vowel, I'm going to be careful to enunciate, just like I just did right there on the word enunciate. I'm going to bite the beginning of the words. If you bite your vowels slow down 20%, and breathe from your diaphragm. Those are the first 3 of about a dozen things I could tell you that will instantly make all of your voice work better. Okay? And by the way, it applies to stage work as well, theater. When this actually harkens back to when I did Anagnos in The Miracle Worker, which is in fact the only play I've ever been in. Okay? And going conscientiously speaking 20% more deliberately than you normally would will cause you to actually not only sound more like an actor, but it will cause your nervousness to be greatly muted. So I'm going a little overboard right now in doing it, but that is something you want to do. You want to speak deliberately, and what happens is it's like any other, let's like playing a piano. It's this thing where what you're trying to do is you're trying to slow it down a little bit so that your brain has the ability to be a little bit ahead of yourself so you can think about what you're doing next. Okay? That's what happens. It becomes a muscle memory thing where as you gain skill, I could be reading a fairly lengthy script, which I do for my commercial clients. You know, because I'll be doing I'll be doing like a message on hold program where, hey, thanks for calling Pine Valley Vet Supply here in Fort Wayne, and or not vet supply, it's actually a vet clinic, but let's leave it at that. Breathe from below, 20% slow down, more deliberate, in other words. Think of it as deliberate. Because if you, and by the way, you can test this. Go watch a movie and just watch a good actor in a movie tonight. Ask yourself this. Do you notice that other than in action scenes, there are action scenes where things get heated up, but you will notice in almost all cases, the actors are actually speaking just a little bit slower than what is natural for most people. And you'll find that informs their performance. They're able to wring more meaning and clarity out of the words from that script by talking a little slower than normal human beings do. So you can, of course, take my advice or leave it, but I know of which I speak.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
Okay, so what we have here that's problematic is there's a clear change in the timbre, the volume, the emphasis. I don't know that the cut from the wide shot to the close shot does the trick.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Mainly because the word again got thrown away. I mean, when I talk about throwing words away, that's actually what happened here.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
It just disappeared. And when Natalie did Tianara, the same thing happened. Where I'm when I'm directing her, I'm like, oh, we got to redo that one because you just threw the end of that word away. Happens all the time. So.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
So making these two takes sew together nicely is going to be difficult. Now, let me ask you this, since you're here, Maria. Is there anything about the things that I'm saying that cause you to want to redo the track and send me another WAV file? Because if so, I would be happy to hear it. If you feel like you can kind of apply some of these things and maybe give it a little more beef. I don't think what you don't want to do generally. This is true for most people. Do you need me to redo? Well, you're hearing what I'm doing with the edit, so it would be better if you did. It would be better if you did because you can see what I'm trying to do, and you could probably nail this in one take because now you really get what I'm after. And this is what I do all the time. And so you don't need to redo a bunch of stuff.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
But you can hear it in "see you again."
It's good to see you again,
Hear,
cousin.
hear how it kind of you're kind of dying a little bit there.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
So I'm gonna keep going forward here though with the.
You bring good news?
I want to listen to the next one too and just kind of see what I have here.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
That take works better. That take works better. Certainly with the in terms of editing, way better.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yeah, in fact, I like that. Hold off on that redo. I actually think that works pretty well because, see, the thing I like about this take gets back to what Amar was saying and kind of my rebuttal was that this is very matter of fact.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
She doesn't sound like a villain. I know you're happy to redo it. Let's stick a pin in it for the moment. Don't worry about it. I enjoy the challenge of working with these tracks and finding the performance in it. You know what I mean? And if you were right here in the room, I'd probably say, okay, step up to the mic and just, because now you see what I'm after. Go ahead and let's see if we can make it even 20% better, right, or whatever. But I wouldn't. Don't sweat it yet. Let me keep working with this. Because now what we're doing is we're dipping our toe into the pond of kind of nuance about how I do what I do that is, like I told everybody a few minutes ago, that right now I'm just roughing it in. You don't really see necessarily how grungy it might get when I really try to cobble this together and fine-tune it. So it's totally like me to say, you probably might want to redo it and then immediately find a take that I like. So I don't want to put you to the extra work unless there's a good reason to it. If there's a good reason to it, I'll ask you for sure. I don't have any problem asking. But right now I think we're okay.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yeah, I like that. See, now you've got just enough of an increase in volume when she says cousin to justify the camera cut, the cut to the close-up.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
So obviously her lip sync is all over the
You
place.
bring good news. You bring good news.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this one up. I want to check and see if there's a.
You bring good news.
No, that definitely isn't it.
You bring good news.
That's too
You
mousy.
bring good news,
That's too mousy too, actually.
cousin. You bring good news.
That's the best one. Which is that what I have?
You bring good news.
Yep, it is. It's pitched down. Okay, so that's the one. All right, let's keep moving forward then.
Excellent. Tell me all about it. Excellent. Tell me all about it.
You know what I'm gonna do?
And
Excellent.
I'm taking that line out. Tell me all about it doesn't belong in there anyway. And it's really pretty good the way you did excellent.
Excellent.
That's like, yeah, that's good. Tell me all about it. This is such a, oh golly, you guys, this is such a great example. Let me turn the light on here. It's such a great example of what you discover when you when you quit jumping from animation software to animation software and you really engage with the tools you have and you just work it and you massage it and you pull it apart and you paste it back together. And this is what we do when we edit, when we're storytellers. It's not about animation. It's not about voices. They all matter. They're all part of it. But this is about telling stories. And so I emphasize this point because we're into a subtlety here. And the subtlety is this. No matter what I have come after the word excellent, it's only going to weaken the word excellent. So it's not bad that I had it in the script. It's not bad that we have the recording of it. That's a good thing because maybe it wasn't going to turn out this way. But when you get this performance,
maybe at hand.
Excellent.
when you got that performance that just feels good, is there anything she could possibly say after that really adds anything to the shot? You get what I'm saying here?
Excellent.
And you have to have the courage, if you're going to edit, and I know what I'm talking about. I've edited a lot of movies. You have to have the courage to throw stuff away and be honest with yourself to say, you know what? I have to admit it, even though my lines, tell me all about it, are in the script, the truth of the matter is, that actor's performance of that one word is better than what I wrote. And you have to be able to take, this is where the collaborative part of creative work becomes kind of important, because you have to be able to recognize good stuff when it happens, and you have to be willing to throw away the stuff that, if you really thought about it, you go, you know, it's just actually making it weaker. It's stronger if we just take it out, you know? So I've made the point. I know I'm belaboring it a little bit, but it's really important.
Excellent.
There's nothing else to add to that. Because the point, from a storytelling standpoint, the point is it cuts back to Tianara. And she's going, what the heck's going on back there? What are they talking about? You know, she knows it doesn't bode well for her, whatever it is. So anyway, I actually think I'm going to end there, because this point that I just made about knowing when to just throw something away and say, you know, it's muting the impact, or it's harming the scene if I leave it in. And believe me, guys, when you edit, visually too, if you're editing video or whatever, when you edit, you are going to be so tempted to keep what was in the plan and lie to yourself and tell yourself that, and I've done it. I'm telling you this because I've done it a million times. And I've had to learn it the hard way, because frankly, Valerie's better at it than I am in terms of just intuitive. I'm a more skilled editor, but as far as you take her, if she kind of knows the software just not that well, but she just understands that we're cutting a show together, she has a better intuition for this stuff than I do, actually. She just has an intuition, right? You have to not talk yourself into keeping something that your gut is telling you would be better if you chopped it out. So that's the point I've been trying to make.
Excellent.
And again, I'm beating it to death. Obviously, we're going to have to change some stuff on the edit here to make this work, but that's okay.
Oh, sure, you can sing. You're as free as a
I hope you guys... you've snipped words and cut out entire scenes. Yeah. Taking out tell me all about it. I had a little trouble with that. Well, you know what, and actually I'm glad you said that too, because this is something I've noticed from time to time, is that the line, it often turns out that the line that the actor's having trouble with is the line that never should have been there in the first place. It's like, that's a common thing, where it's like, this just isn't working. You know, you have the actor do it 7 times and it's just not clicking, and you know, and then you realize, well, wait a minute, what if they said the line and then just were silent and just let the camera, you know, capture that moment? And that's completely common. So if your actor's having trouble with a line, it might be because it's a crappy line. Very, very, very common, prevalent happenstance, let's say.
It's good to see you again, cousin. You bring good news.
Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Well, and this is another example where
you bring good news.
Let's just take this as an example. I'm going to just try this, and let's just see how we like it. Okay?
Good to see you again, cousin.
Yes, I may bring good news.
Good to see you again.
Yes, I may bring good news. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Okay, now, I don't know that I like the line I did. I just threw that out off the top of my head. So I took Carliana's line out and put Golik's in. And So instead of her asking,
Good to see you again, cousin.
Yes, I may bring good news.
yeah.
Cousin,
Yes, I may have good news.
cousin,
Yes, I may have good news. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment...
So this is interesting. I'm not saying I'm going to keep this, but it's interesting because now he says, I may have good news. And then this pregnant pause where he does the same thing, where he kind of pushes the whole cousin thing.
Yes, I may have good news. Perhaps, dear cousin.
Perhaps, dear cousin. I mean, that's a strange terminology. What's going on here?
Yes, I may have good news. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Okay, if I was going to do that, this line should really be,
Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment is at hand.
okay, I got a pee-pop or something.
Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment is at hand. Perhaps, dear cousin. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment is at hand.
I think it's better. Okay. Okay, so there you go, Maria. No, this is cool. This is, this is kind of what it's about. You're just trying to
Yes,
find...
I may have good news. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment is... Yes, I may have good news. Perhaps, dear cousin, our moment is at hand.
Okay. This would be better if he said,
Dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
I think that's probably better. Let's see.
Yes, I may have good news. Dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Yes. See, this is more pregnant with the latent tension of them asserting that, okay, they're relatives and yes, we're in cahoots together, but, we're all kind of trying to establish where we stand in this relationship. There's a lot under the surface there that I'm feeling.
it's good to see you again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news. Dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
You see what I mean? I think that's better. And Maria's saying yes and yes, and I trust your judgment on that, Maria. I think we've come up with something better here. This is this isn't kindergarten level stuff we're talking about here, folks. You guys are. I'll be so bold as to say you guys right now are seeing a master class in the combination of editing and working with voices and storytelling and what do you really need to do in order to find a way to just turn this into something cool, So I'm glad for, the challenges and the mistakes and the choices and the ideas, and sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't work. I think yes, from him should hold a bit longer, like a slight pause.
You again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news. Dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
I like it. That's an improvement, man. So, I can't be married to my script. I can't be married to my animation.
Excellent.
And then she just says, excellent. You could cut back to Golic here and have him, just kind of looking at her. And you could almost cut back to Golic and have his eyes dart a little bit, almost like he's sizing her up a little bit. Because that is partly what's going on here under the hood. It's fun stuff. Okay, so, and if I hadn't have been working, this is kind of what I was saying about a redo, Maria. If I hadn't have been pushing and pulling the clay around, trying to find the voice performance that felt right, in context, I wouldn't have bumped into this idea. This was necessary to discover this. And this is when I make these snarky comments about not wasting a bunch of time trying the new software and this and that and the other. This stuff is software agnostic. Really. I mean, this is about taking storytelling to a level that actually can sit in the mix, in broadcast. I don't think I'm overstating it. And this is why you have to engage with your sucky tools. You know, I complain about Creed all the time, but you have to engage with your sucky tools with a focus on storytelling, on doing something. And if you want to know what, you know, how to, you know, what should I be doing, then you just look at what's out there in the world, you know, on broadcast or whatever, that you're effectively competing with. In other words, what I'm saying is having an attitude of competing is not a bad thing. It's actually not a bad thing at all. To have a little bit of a push in yourself that says, I'm going to try to be as good as, you know, this other thing.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news. Dear cousin, our moment may be...
Yeah, I actually love that performance, you know, even though I did it. And Maria's performance works really well with it, too.
Cousin.
They're flowing
yes,
quite
I
nicely.
may have... Our moment
There
may
it is.
be at hand.
Excellent.
So, again, I hope you guys don't mind me belaboring the point. I only do it because I know with my, 10 years making movies, I know that what I just showed you guys is gold. There's so much in that about how to craft your raw materials into something that's working and being willing to throw stuff away. You cannot overstate it. It's a big deal. Okay, so onward and upward. What time is it? 7:54. It's almost...
Oh, sure.
Oh, you're saying... Okay, so... And I'll make a note on that.
You again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news.
You're saying... You're saying put a pause here after her line. Is that what you're saying? Then the dear cousin cuts back to her to show her response. Well, and that, you know what? I'll work with this. Having the pause initially right now, viscerally, I could take it or leave it. It's like it wouldn't harm, but I don't know that it's necessarily that big of a deal. But
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yes,
But if we're going to kind of keep following this thing through, then we might want to break this up a little bit more.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yes, I may...
Okay. And then what you do is you'd actually stretch this out a little bit too. So we're going to pretty much ignore the animation at this point.
See you again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news.
Okay, I actually would say I like him jumping right in with his line because of the way he says it.
Yes, I may
In other words, this is him trying to take control of the conversation, right? Do you feel that in the tone of voice? Yes, I'm jumping right in, kind of thing. So I don't know that I want to pause there.
Cousin.
Yes, I may have good news. Dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Excellent.
I have good news. Dear cousin...
You got to remember, an important thing to understand about Golik, remember, Golik is a slave. Carliana is not. So even though they're distant relatives, in terms of rank, she outranks him. He knows she outranks him. But he's got to play this game in such a way as to be and seem invaluable to her. It's way more important that he does that than she does that. Especially once he gets the ball rolling on this whole idea of having Vespar marry Tianara. Because once the ball does get rolling, Golik could be cut out of the deal completely, and the deal's still going to happen, right? See what I'm saying? Well, yeah, but Amar, the whole idea of... Okay, so what I like about your suggestion is the idea of doing the cutback. And that fits right into what Ed was talking about the other day when I interviewed him, is I need to do more of that.
It's good to see you again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news. Dear cousin, our moment may be at hand.
Excellent.
So I'll have to play with that. But more of a sly and cunning character. I don't know quite how to, that's such a broad statement about him. Yes, he's sly and yes, he's cunning, but the attitude...
You again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news.
He's sitting there like this. He's kind of sitting there like this.
Oh, yes, I may have good news. Cousin, I'm exaggerating it. But that's the attitude. He is, in fact, playing a role here, to a degree.
Again, cousin.
Yes, I may have good news.
That's why he pushes, the thing that's cool about this is you could probably take almost any, little sequence or scene or shot, and have these same conversations. In fact, you know what? I would encourage you guys to do it. If you get together with your friends or your theater group or whatever, bring a camera, man. Pull out your phone, shoot the thing. And I'm serious about this, because this is what I would do. Say, okay, everybody's here. Let's do it. Let's shoot it. You can even edit the thing if you want. I mean, actually change shots, when you go from person to person, character to character. But you say, okay, I don't want to do a bunch of editing, so what are we going to do? Okay, what we want to do, then see, you guys have got me talking here. Right now, I am talking the way I talk when I am, in fact, directing a movie. When I'm literally, I got 20 people around me, and I'm having to run the show. And I'm comfortable in that role. What you should do is you come to the party, you pull out your phone, you shoot the scene, and you say, okay, we're going to work with the limitations we have. That means we are going to shoot this from the vantage point of a soap opera. Okay? We're not going to have any editing. We got one shot. So number one, frame up the shot intelligently. Well, how do I frame up the shot intelligently? Frame up the shot so that it looks, when you look at your phone, you'd swear to God you're looking at a soap opera on TV. If it doesn't look like what you see on TV, then what are you doing wrong? Why are you holding your camera this way or that way where it doesn't look? Now, you can talk about lighting. Okay, if the lighting sucks, then of course it's a little harder to make it look like a show or a movie. But come on. Anybody, if they just try, can frame up a shot using the rule of thirds. Okay? So then you do it and you just shoot it. And then you sit and you watch it back. You say, right now we're going to play it back and we're going to say, does it look like a movie? Does it or doesn't it? Is this what we just shot in 30 seconds? Does it compare favorably with what I'm seeing on TV? Yes or no? If it doesn't, then you start asking yourself questions. Why doesn't it? Is it the way the people move? Is it the way I'm throwing syllables away at the end of my words? Is it because everybody thinks it's... So you know what everybody does? It's so stupid. I made $1 million movie that was shot with cameras that you can get on eBay for $200. $200. It isn't the camera. And these people go out and they're spending all kinds of money on cameras and steady cams and all this stupid stuff, but yet they can't frame up a shot. It's insanity. It isn't the camera. It's not the camera. It never was the camera. Right? So this is how, in other words, if this is what you want to do is tell stories, then this is what you should be doing. You should be recording this thing, and you should, so Amar, you're saying you're playing to his character, but you weren't playing to his character. You were playing to your perception of how you describe your understanding of his character and how that happens to apply to the current scene. And that's fine. When you do that, you might be right and you might be wrong. Because nobody bats 1,000. Okay? So sometimes you're going to get it right, sometimes you're going to get it wrong. But what I'm talking about is how do you really start to tune into what makes a story work or happen? Right? And so I offer this as a bit of advice to anybody that's watching this channel is here's a really, really cheap, obvious way to do it. The most significant thing you can take away from this little diatribe is this. If you can't pull out your phone and shoot a little performance with your friends and literally say to yourself, yep, it's Hollywood, then I tell you, there are specific reasons why not. It is the lighting. It would be better if you had two or 3 point lighting. It is the audio. The audio doesn't sound as good. It sounds like they're 6 feet away from the phone, which they are, so it's not the audio. You have to look past all that. You have to look past it. You say, I'm talking about the performance. I'm talking about the effect of what I see on that screen. Is it working or not? And the whole point is to get yourself to start asking questions. In some cases, like we did here today, you have a dialogue. Everybody's got an opinion. Okay. Figure it out. Figure it out. Look at your show. Look at your animation. Look at your TikTok video. Whatever it is, what's wrong? This is, for Maria, that was the point I made when I was talking to Ed about the version of your forest thing that was the latest thing I had seen. I said, just ask yourself the question when the camera panned over, I guess from your guys' perspective, the camera panned over like this. And in the video, what I saw was it went like this and then immediately came back. And so I said, well, ask yourself the question, why did it go over there in the first place? What was it going to see? So that's not a criticism of what you did, because actually the thing you sent out to everybody looked better. You had improved it, okay? But the point is that those are the questions you always want to be asking yourself. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose here? Everything, every little line or every little move or every frame doesn't have to be intentional. If somebody says everything should be essential, I think they might be overstating it. There are some things that are kind of throwaways, but if you ask yourself these questions, what will happen is you begin to go from, and this is really important for, especially in the animation space, I think. It's really important because as creatives looking at animation, we are responding emotionally and viscerally, not to an accurate technical description of what we see in a show. We're actually reacting to, we're having an emotional reaction to how we feel about the characters and the dialogue and the story and the emotion and the music, everything working together. We have a reaction to that. And those emotions are not what made it work. The emotion is what you felt as a result of the work. What actually made it work is stuff like this, where you just move this line of dialogue a little closer, and then you put in a little pause, and then you decide to make it, maybe change the line. And why do I point this out to you guys? Because think about it. This is the part of this, what I'm saying here, that is gold. Think about it. There's nothing I've done here that's difficult. Not one thing that I've done is difficult. And then what we do as animators is we look at something like this where we've only got two shots.
Good to see you
one shot. The characters aren't even
I
moving.
have good news, dear cousin.
And if we get sucked into the story, we have this emotional reaction to the story, and then we go to our software to create the animation, and we start moving things all over the place because we think that by moving stuff, we will recreate the feeling that we got from the show that we like. And I'm telling you, you won't. You will not. Because what you have to do is you have to ask yourself technically, in other words, specifically, what exactly happened right there that caused me to have the feeling. Because it often turns out to be the case that it's a lot less and it's a lot easier than what you thought. Because what you feel is, it's that emotion. You understand what I'm saying? It's you're reacting to the total package of light and special effects and movement and sound and dialogue and characters, depending on where it is in the show, whether you care about them yet. If you do, it makes it a lot harder for you to get really specific about what it is you're actually seeing on the screen. But the more specific you can get, the more you're going to discover that the stuff you're trying to do as storytellers isn't actually that hard. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a lot of work, but it's not that hard. The good storytelling is pretty darn simple most of the time. But you have to develop some discernment by asking better questions and being real specific with the answers. I hope this helps you guys. I'm going to take a break. In fact, actually, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. It's been 2 hours, and I'm going to quit there because I feel like I'm quitting on a good note, and I think you guys get it, and I hope you take this to heart. Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a guy here I've made 8 movies, okay? And I've had a couple that were, okay, successful. I kind of know what I'm talking about on some of this stuff. So, anyway, with that, I'm going to sign off. You guys are great. Thanks for hanging in there. And I am ready for a break. So, peace out. There will be more later.